Some fighters win with skill, others win with strategy. And then there's Dricus du Plessis, a man who wins fights with the kind of Looney Tunes plot armor that shouldn't even exist in real life. You know the type, runs into punches head first, throws from his hip like he's swatting flies, gasps for air in round 1, and then suddenly takes over in round 3 like nothing happened. He's awkward, he's wild, and yet somehow he's the UFC middleweight champion of the world. And this Saturday, he's about to put that belt on the line against the UFC's most hyped boogeyman, the Wolf Khamzat Chimaev. Now, Chimaev isn't just any fighter. He's an aura merchant. Half his wins start before the first punch is even thrown. Guys are so fearful of their wrestling that they forget to fight their own fight. He makes guys fight scared, he makes them second guess themselves, and when he gets his hands on you, bro, you either go down or you get drowned. But here's where it gets interesting. Plot armor doesn't care about aura. Du Plessis doesn't seem to know when he's supposed to lose. And Chimaev's style hasn't really been tested against a guy who simply refuses to go away. And UFC 319, we're about to find out what happens when unstoppable hype meets unkillable chaos. Does the Wolf finally collect his crown? Or does Dricus once again bend the laws of MMA physics and walk out with gold? Before we get into the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. You're watching The MMA Couch. Let's break it down. Let's start with the champ. Dricus du Plessis is proof that textbook technique is optional. Optional if you've got heart, cardio, the power of friendship, Looney Tunes, domain expansion, and of course, plot armor. Dricus du Plessis is the kind of fighter who makes 0 sense on paper, and yet, he's the middleweight champion of the world. He breaks the rules, ignores the manual, and still finds a way to win like every single time. He literally does everything you're not supposed to do, and he still wins. If I were to describe his style, I'd say it's chaotic, awkward, and strangely effective. When you watch Dricus fight, how should I put this? It's like seeing someone playing UFC on a console with a broken controller, but somehow still beating ranked opponents online. He presses forward with relentless volume, looping punches that shouldn't land, but they do. And he also brings this super uncomfortable rhythm. Even the most technical strikers find themselves missing shots and eating counters because nothing he does fits the standard timing of MMA exchanges. But here's the thing. He's not just an awkward striker. Dricus has sneaky underrated grappling as well. He submitted a whole Gracie Barra team in a 5v5 jiu-jitsu match. And also before the UFC, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but before the UFC, he used to be primarily a grappler. He's got strong top control when he decides to take it there, and his submission game has caught people sleeping before. And then there's his cardio. Not in the traditional smooth, effortless way, but in a grinding and more stubborn kind of way. The kind where he looks exhausted, yet somehow still pushes the same pace in round 4 that he did in round 1. Mentally, the guy is made of stone. He's broken opponents mentally and physically, not with sharp precision, but with pure, unrelenting tenacity. The guy is an absolute dog. He doesn't give you space, he doesn't give you rest, and he does not give you the fight you train for. Of course, with that style comes a lot of risk, like serious risk. He often leaves his chin in the air, especially during his blitzes, and he tends to rely on his durability a bit too much in my opinion, and his wild looping shots can be telegraphed, which is perfect for a disciplined counter-striker or a well-timed takedown. He's also pretty flat-footed, which means mobile opponents can circle out and make him chase, but the problem for most people, chasing Dricus usually turns into him chasing you, and eventually he catches you. And here's something people forget. Dricus doesn't just win in the cage, he wins on the mic as well. He's one of the best trash talkers in the game right now. Like, he's not loud or over the top with his trash talk, he's more surgical about it, you know? He knows exactly what buttons to press to get under his opponent's skin. Like, we've literally seen him make Israel Adesanya and Sean Strickland cry back to back. When you can beat guys in the mental game and then beat them in the physical one, that's dangerous. And then we've got the Wolf himself, Khamzat Chimaev. If Dricus is fighting with Looney Tunes plot armor, then Khamzat is fighting with a cloak of pure intimidation. The man is the UFC's #1 boogeyman before the cage door even closes, half his opponents are already making escape plans. Chimaev's game is built on fear and speed. His wrestling, well, it's absolutely suffocating. He shoots like he's a lightweight, chains takedowns like an Olympian, and once he's on top of you, you're not getting up unless he lets you. Or if you're Gilbert Burns. It's like drowning in cement while someone is punching you in the face. And when he's in that ground and pound mode, you don't just lose, you question your life choices. But here's the scary part. Khamzat isn't a one-trick pony anymore. The striking is raw, but explosive. When he blitzes forward, it's not just for show. He can hurt you back. We've seen what he did to Gerald Meerschaert before, and his ability to switch from striking to a level change in an instant makes him super unpredictable. That is what makes Khamzat Chimaev such a challenge. You can't just prepare for wrestling, you've got to prepare for him. Mentally, the guy's got a predator's mindset. He smells fear, he smells hesitation, and he attacks it. That's how you build the fear, by making people feel like they're prey from the moment they sign the contract. His stare downs aren't just for hype, they're part of the fight. But let's be real, even aura merchants have question marks. We still haven't seen Chimaev in a grueling, high-paced 5-round war at middleweight or any weight class. His fight with Gilbert Burns showed he can be dragged into a brawl, and when he's chasing that kill shot, his defense can get very sloppy. If Gilbert Burns is landing bombs like this, you can only imagine what Dricus is gonna do. Now, Chimaev early on is very dangerous, but his cardio is still unproven deep in championship rounds. Although I don't agree with the take that if Khamzat doesn't finish the fight in the first 2 rounds, he's cooked because he's gonna gas out. I don't believe that. I think if he doesn't finish the fight in the first 2 rounds, I think he will be able to keep up. And this is the key. Khamzat's aura and intimidation and presence works best when he's in total control. When the fight's going his way, he's practically unstoppable. But when an opponent doesn't break, when they don't fear the wolf, that's when we see if the aura and hype is real or just a sales pitch. At UFC 319, for the first time, he's fighting a guy who's immune to fear, because Dricus doesn't even operate on the same reality as the rest of us. This fight isn't just about skills, it's about who can force their style on the other. For DDP, the path is simple, but not easy. Survive the first 2 rounds, make Chimaev work in the scrambles, and force him into a dogfight where cardio and mental toughness take over. The longer this fight goes, the more I believe plot armor comes into play, and essentially Dricus needs to make this a battle of attrition. And I genuinely believe that no one can beat Dricus in a battle of attrition in the middleweight division. Plot armor is too strong. The longer this fight goes, the more I believe the momentum will be on DDP's side. For Chimaev, the blueprint is crystal clear. Early takedowns, smothering top control, make Dricus carry his weight and feel every ounce of that pressure. He can't let Dricus get comfortable in the striking, and he definitely cannot let him start finding that awkward rhythm. He needs to prevent Dricus from getting comfortable in the fight. If he can do that, I believe he can beat Dricus. Let's move on to my prediction. On paper, Khamzat should win this fight. However, Dricus can't read. So this is a very tough fight to call. Both fighters have areas in their game that can be exploited. Khamzat can look to time the crazy DDP blitzes. Khamzat doesn't really move his head. Dricus has his brain dead moments where he gives up a dominant position for no reason. Khamzat is kind of one-dimensional. Everyone knows he wants to wrestle. And we have seen in the past that he can be dragged into a brawl if he can't get his way. We've seen it with Burns, of course, and at times with Kamaru Usman. And that's what Dricus should look to exploit. And for Khamzat, he should look to exploit those blitzes and the brain-dead moments Dricus has in his fights. Also, I don't believe Khamzat is going to gas out. Unless DDP puts on a Marab-type pace, I don't think Khamzat is gassing out. This is such a hard fight to predict, because every time I doubt Dricus and pick against him, he proves me wrong and wins. And this time, it's kind of the same story. Again, my head is telling me Khamzat is going to win and bring an end to the Looney Tunes plot armor, but my gut is telling me Dricus surprises me again and defends his belt with the power of friendship, Looney Tunes, and of course, plot armor. I usually lean more towards my gut whenever I predict a very close matchup, but this time I'm going to be different and go with what my head is saying, and that is Chimaev remains undefeated and becomes the new middleweight world champion. But if Dricus wins again, I want to be surprised. So for my official prediction, I'm going to go with Khamzat Chimaev. Anyways, Drop your prediction in the comments, hit subscribe, and get ready because whatever happens at UFC 319, this one is going to be wild. And if you enjoyed the videos and would like to support the channel, you can do that by buying me a coffee with the link in the description. That's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one.